Well, it's not anymore, so it's like, well, yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is John. In-game name is Best Summoner NA, and it obviously is.
I didn't actually know that.
What?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Okay, well you now know. Basically, I'll be teaching you guys, and with my own opinion, on how to gain elo, to gain up in ranks. I've done it, started out in bronze, now I'm here. And yeah, so let's
just keep in mind most of it is opinionated. There's no real factual way to do this. It's not like if you do X, you'll get Y. Who here is interested in kind of raising their rank or things like that?
Almost everybody, except for the people who are lying, who are like, yeah, I'm already at the top of the ranks. There's really no point in my being here. Just wanted to shout and prove you wrong.
I mean, you're probably better than I am now anyway, so. Who's interested in aspiring to be a professional player or into the Challenger League?
A few people, yeah.
That's good. There's been a lot of players out of this city, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was more. Because I did Odd One, everyone knows Odd One. His brother, Maple Street. Paradoxical and Pixel are really old. They're not old, they're younger than I am, but they played for Team Dynamic, which is what Team Coast was now, 2 years ago. And I think Zion Spartan's the only actual player still of that team, so. I mean, hey, if one of you becomes the next one, that's not surprising to me. So, woo, Calgary! Sorry, there's a lot of you. I'm scared. Okay, so John.
All right, so I'll start off with the PowerPoint. Basically, what I want to talk about is your mindset, your attitude, and how you play the game. It is a big role in your rank. That basically, your rank reflects how you play. So how do you present yourself inside the game, and exactly how's your mentality? A lot of people claim that they're in elo hell, or they rage when they play because they have teammates to blame, they have their mechanics saying that they got outplayed, they also have OP champions, underpowered champions, and of course, lag. So instead of finding excuses and finding something to blame your poor play or your low rank, instead change your attitude. Change it so that you're a more positive outlook, a more outward mentality, instead of finding everything to be at fault, instead finding something to help you play better. What I find personally is that League of Legends is a skill-based gambling game. It's like poker, it's like blackjack. It's something that is your mentality, and there's risk and reward. So similar to poker, there are 3 factors inside the game, and that affects the game outcome, on whether or not you lose, you win, if you feed or not. A is your own input. So basically, that's the stuff that you have total control over. The stuff that your decisions, your key presses, your input, basically everything that you're entering into the game is your own input. B is your in-game events. In-game events are stuff that happens from your teammates, from your opponents, stuff that you have no control over. So stuff like, say you're playing mid lane, bot lane gets pushed down, that's an in-game event. Your bot lane turret gets destroyed, that you had no control over. And C is volume. Volume is how much you play. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but first I'll talk about basically next slide, which is going to be, okay, that is next slide. Okay, never mind. So similar to poker, you have in-game or your own input, which is to bet, to fold, or to raise. Those are your decisions. When you're laning against your opponents, that is basically where laning phase is where your own input has the highest impact on the game. What you decide to do, when you back, when you buy, what to buy, those affect how you play and what not. And basically, when you play ranked, you want to focus solely on A. You don't want to let people get in under your skin when they try to rage at you, when they try to blame you, or when your lane opponent tries to taunt you. You don't want to be baited into it. Like say your bot lane ADC is blaming mid for not ganking, for not pushing down turrets, for something like that. Instead of trying to retort back saying, oh, this is your fault, or oh, if the jungler came and helped, I could have done that. Instead, you want to let it roll off your back. Just ignore it. Let them totally just mute them if it needs to be, and just totally ignore them. I've done it a lot of times where people would start raging, and those are the people that you don't want to interact with. Mute them, just ignore it, play your game, do what you can at your own best possible skill level, and try to win your game by doing what you want to do.
But it's never my fault.
It's never your fault.
It's never my fault.
What percentage of the time do you guys think you're like, it doesn't have to be an actual mathematical number, but how often do you think you're actually being baited into doing something you really don't want to do?
All the time. Every single time.
So it's pretty consistent then.
Oh, always.
Yeah, okay, good to know.
Basically, you kind of want to, honestly, a lot of games, maybe 90% of the games, there will be someone pretty mad that will have a bad day, that will start trying to find an outlet to try and lay the blame on someone else other than themselves. Basically, when I try to play, when I have something negative to say, usually I try not to say it, but if I do, I'll actually just alt-tab out of the game and write it on Notepad, look at it, and then leave it. Try not to, take the bait and basically start raging on your own teammates, because that basically tears down your entire game.
That's like the most Oprah Winfrey observation about gaming I believe I've ever heard. Just write down your negative comments instead of shouting the meta at a 12-year-old child who got bullied today.
So basically, the lower the impact uncontrollable game events have on your play, the higher the number of games you play. That's volume. Volume is by playing more and more games. Instead of playing 30 games and say, oh, that's my rank, it's not very accurate. It's like statistics. The more games you play, the more reliable your mean is, your average rank. By doing that, that's how you slowly gain rank. Statistically, the more you play, the more you focus on your own play, it's more apparent that your rank is slowly going up. It may take a long time, it may take a couple weeks, but honestly, it will look like you're gaining rank. Do you have anything to add, Sam? No? Okay.
Do you guys find yourselves getting caught in that loop where as you see your rank increasing, you're starting to play more anyway because you're seeking that higher rank? So for me, sometimes it's self-reinforcing where I'm like, oh my god, I just have to beat this guy, and then I'm 2,900th in the world.
Yeah, honestly, another thing that I wanted to mention is like when you have a bad game where you lost, your whole team lost, you're angry at your whole team, you're angry at yourself, don't just go back into ranked. Don't go in and think, okay, now I'll have better teammates. By doing that, you're just deteriorating and giving your opponents an edge. Because just like in poker and other skill-based games, you don't want to play on tilt. An infamous player, Reggie, for TSM, he used to play on tilt a lot. He would throw games online competitively, and the whole community would give him flack for it. Oh, Reggie threw, oh, Reggie's raging, he's playing on tilt. And that's the thing, like Reggie is a pretty good example in my eye where he lets his emotions get the better of him, and instead of taking a break and stepping back and taking a quick look at what's happening, he just snowballs into this uncontrollable hot mess and just was the demise of TSM in my eyes.
Whoa, hey.
I'm just saying.
I like Reggie. Don't bad talk Reggie.
He's doing better now. But back in the heyday where he would let his emotions control him. It was pretty bad.
I still like Reggie.
And that's basically it for now. If you have questions, you could ask that a little bit later. We'll let Sam talk a little bit now, and we'll get to all that later.
Okay, first, who's bronze in the house? Rep your league. Aw, yeah. I was bronze too, there's nothing wrong with that. Who's silver? Gold, platinum, diamond, challenger. I was gonna be like, if I need to use challenger, I don't know why you're here, but. But no, doesn't really matter what rank you're in, there's always something to learn. Because no one's perfect at playing the game, and ultimately it's a game, you're there to have fun anyway. So, yeah, generally with the way their system works is, if you play 10 games and then say, oh, I end up in bronze, it could be accurate, it could be not. Generally, that sort of system is meant to be there to span over a wider array of games. Like if you play 100, 1,000, then it's supposed to be more accurate. But the way they set it up now, it's much nicer to look at your rank and say, okay, now I am progressing up, up, up. Because before it was like, it was all points. Like who's fairly new, like within the last year to start playing? 2 years? 3? Who's 4 like me, like really? Yeah.
I'm in the middle there.
That's still good. Your life is just as lost as mine now. So yeah, because before they would use a system where it was purely the numerical value. So you would have a number starting from 1,200 and then it would go up and down based on winning, losing, like that. And if you lost like 5 in a row, you would see your thing drop down maybe 100 points and then you'd get down the dumps. Now they've got the system in place, and it is much more reinforcing to say that you're improving because you're going from bronze 5 to 4, 4 to 3, and so on and so on. Although it still kind of sucks when you're like 2 for 2, that last game comes, and the worst thing happens ever. You're back down, having to read points again. But in that, most of it is you're playing a team-based game by yourself. There's not a whole lot that you can do in regards to others. Like you could be a pain, and there's a lot of people that just like doing that. Or you could just not say much either. But then you kind of get reactions, because some people will flame you, lash out at you for any small little thing. And then it turns into an arguing, and then you're typing more than doing your them, then clicking around, playing games like that. And then your day kind of sucks, you might go somewhere, then you're angry. But that depends on people. So yeah, if you do, like some of these things there's nothing you can do, so why worry about it? You're playing a game. If the game ends, staying angry at it doesn't do much. Like, if you lost, you lost. Nothing you can do now, so why worry about it? Just, if you want to play again, just don't worry about it, because anything you do now is not going to affect it. All you can do is play the game. So usually what that means is like focus on yourself. Like what can you do better? Could you do this? Could you do X, Y? Did you do anything? Because some people like to, who's a top laner? How many of you like to sit top and farm till 200 and then go, oh, I don't know what happened. My whole base is gone. I do that too, and I play top lane, I don't care. I want to farm. I would have hit people with just 600 damage. But it's things like that, because like even I play games where I'll sit in my lane, farm, my whole base dies, and I'm like, well, I probably could have done something. But there's creeps here too. So I guess I look good. But like there's things like that, there's 20 million other things. Like, so for example, I mean, we'll get, a lot of this will be questions that you guys have because it's very hard to approach everything because there's broads like if this happens, if that happens, if I like doing this, if I like doing that. So for example, there's always like look at yourself more than others because there's many different things you can look at. Like for example, you kill one person. Okay, what happened? Did you actually do everything correct or did they screw up and somehow allow you to kill them? Because there's many times like I'll miss a bunch of stuff because I'm bad, but then they end up missing something that would have killed me. But because they miss, I kill them instead. But it's not because I did something, it's because they purely missed. But then there's that whole like, oh, if you're good, you shouldn't miss skill shots. Oh, if you're good, you shouldn't get hit by them. There's, sorry, I won't do that voice again.
I was enjoying it, yeah.
I love it. And I talk the whole time like this. Hooray! Hooray!
The panel gets weird.
Oh my god!
Well, thank you for joining us for Muppet Summoner School. Do you guys have anything to say about team selection, about the people that you're working with, how you came together into community? Is that an important factor for you?
I mean, you're really pulling a roulette wheel because it's purely matchmaking. So you could get someone like, there's always those people you don't like to see. You're like, this person will screw everything up.
Teamos.
Watch. Whoa. Actually, I think it's funny because I think playing Teemo makes you win more than not. Because everyone wants to kill Teemo. Who likes killing Teemo? There's no benefit to doing it, but you want to do it.
See, the thing is, when I play Teemo, I feed. But when there's an enemy Teemo, he's penta-killing everyone with his mushrooms.
But if you're dying 11 times, that's 11 times they came to kill you. That's not your fault. Your team should be ready for that. No, which is good because there's a lot of questions about, what do I play? How do I play? What position? What champions? First of all, you do play things that are overpowered because it's easy. Why would you play something hard? Just play something easy. But ultimately, play things that you like playing. Because if you're playing a game to play, I don't actually like playing Teemo. I think it's funny when people play Teemo, but I have no fun whatsoever. But why would I play a game? If the entire purpose is to have fun, pick something that I inherently don't like playing. It's kind of counterintuitive. Because at the end of the day, it's a game. You're playing for fun. Unless you're playing like these people in relegations right now that are fighting for their jobs. Have mercy on them. It's too much. But play the things you like, because generally if you're good at them, well, you're playing them for a reason. You like playing them. So generally you should probably have some experience on it. So you're probably good at it. Unless you just like playing them. That's fine too. But playing things that you don't have experience on or in generally does not, if your sole purpose is to win, generally does not happen as much as you would like. What?
Nothing.
I play top lane and I die all day. Teemo for life.
Do you guys want to open it up to some
Yeah,
specific
I think that's good,
questions?
because I'm getting some gazes.
It might be time to. So we're here to talk about strategies, things that make it easier for you to gain those ranks, to improve, but also to discuss the details of the game as well too. So
well, it's community too. So everyone's probably got questions like any sort of thing, but let's hear from you guys because it's a community-based game. So, and besides, look at all you all play. This is like another 100 people to play with. People are like.
So there's a hand right over at the back there on the aisle. And we're going over here. Perfect.
So if we can get your summoner name, that'd be cool because.
Okay, this is kind of a question and just an announcement. I don't know if you guys follow the LCS, but LMQ just beat XDG. So
That's not surprising.
XDG's done. And I guess the question is, who is your favorite LCS team from NA and EU?
Can it be someone that doesn't play anymore? Or does it have to be current? I'm really biased for Chowster because, I played with Chowster and I kind of talked him around in that, and I always respected Chowster. EU. I don't watch it as much. Oh, crap. I could say Xpeke, and everyone's like, ooh. Oh, no, Diamond. That's it. I like Diamond. Diamond's really cool.
All right. I guess my favorite NALCS player would have to be X Special. He has a wide range of.
Contain your fanboy. Oh my gosh!
He's there constantly theory crafting, finding new ways to play the game. Obviously, he brought Annie to the NALCS after watching the World All-Stars. I know the Chinese played it first, but he brought Annie into LCS for us. As for EU, I have to stick with the support again, Crepo. He does.
Crepo's not in EU now.
Well, he was.
Okay.
he came from the EULCS, and he is always there for the team. Like, he has the no man left behind mentality. And yeah, so we'll go for the next question.
Yeah, right over here.
All right, Summoner name is Thesaru. I'm an NA. What do you do if you're losing ranks even though you're constantly going positive in your games?
Say that last part again.
What do you do when you're constantly going positive in your games but you never win?
I couldn't hear anything. Sorry. Just...
Give him a sec.
What do you say is a strategy for if you're having a lot of positive games but you're still losing?
So if you're having a lot of positive games, but you're still finding yourself on that losing end, you're still finding yourself like ending up on teams, bad luck, it's not going well.
Generally, if you're positive, you're doing something. Because, I mean, you're not getting, like, if you're 10-0 and losing, you've done something. Unless you were just getting last hits on kills, but I do that all the time, so that's okay. If you're doing that, like, if you're, like, that's a lot too. Like, people are like, I always win lane. I don't lose. I overfarm. Well, if you're winning lane, then go do something. Because a lot of people tend to win lane and then sit in the lane, or they'll farm jungle and then they'll be like, well, I'm farmed, but I'm going to stay here. Because if you're like 5-0 and you're a mid laner or something, go do something. You can probably kill like half the other team, but like, why sit there? I mean, sometimes you can't do anything. It depends. But then look at it too. Like, if you're positive, but the rest of your team is like if you're the only kills there, but the rest of your team has assists on it, like, it depends too, right? Like, saying positive record is very vague, so there's a lot of things that could happen. But if you're in the case that I'm thinking of, if like you're winning, you're getting kills, generally make sure you go do something, and don't like just sit there and wait for it, which is hard to do in like a solo queue environment. But just try to be there and do something, force something, right? Like, if you're a top laner, if you're like 10-0, get the whole team to come chase you. So that's what top laners do. It's funny. You play like what? Like Shyvana is now popular. I like 3 people right after. I just run away. It's hilarious. Or play Teemo.
I'd like to add to that. Basically, every time that you convert a kill, I would say that's not enough. Do a little mental checklist as you do that. Can you push the turret? Can you take the turret? If you can't do that, try to push up your turret and start roaming. Head down to mid lane, help out your teammates there, or if you want to be even more of a risk taker, go into their jungle. Try to catch their jungler doing something and try to ambush them that way. And
yeah, go ahead.
All right, there we go.
Okay, sorry. Okay, my summoner name is the Fat Cat, and I'm in silver. I was a question. When do you think you're pushing too far, and when you should be to go get your items? Like, when is a good timing for that?
Okay, so I'll talk about the backing first. Generally, look at the map. If it's possible you're going to die, you can generally telegraph it really easily. Because if like, oh, the mid laner all of a sudden just went this way, well, probably coming for you. Buying items is a good thing, which is kind of hard to say. Like, some people like to sit in lane and they'll get 3 kills, but they won't buy a single thing. And then when they do get ganked, they die really easily because none of the gold's been spent. So compare yourself with enemies. Like, if you haven't bought anything just like them, you're pretty much on equal ground. But use the gold when you can, but also kind of know when not to buy, because there's always been that like Nexus push. You can win, and then the one person's like, 1 sec, I need my IE. This game's not ending unless I have my item. But there's no real point to it. Like, if you need items, go buy. But at the same time, like, if it's not important and your team's going to do something, generally stick with it. But that takes a lot of like thinking of like, oh, should I do it now? Like, if your whole team goes to do dragon, you back to buy an item, well, just kill the dragon, then go get the item. It doesn't really matter. Because if you back, they're not going to do the dragon any faster. They're just going to do it slower. It's not like it's going to take, you're going to get there and come all the way back and be like, hi guys, I'm here, I'm helping. So kind of balance. If you've got too much gold, generally go spend it. But if you've got like 1,000 and other people haven't bought, then you're still technically on equal ground. There's not really an advantage unless they start buying things.
let me just quickly ask you, what position do you play most?
I play ADC.
ADCs, okay. I guess one tip for you for laning phase, that's probably where you want to focus most on when to back, is try to match it with your enemy. If you notice that they pushed, or they're pushing, and then they want to back, try to stop them. And then another thing is try to follow your support. When your support is out of wards, I would generally go back with him, just so that you can cycle through, have vision, so that you can always stop any incoming ganks as well.
Or you stay and go all in. That's how you live.
So we got a question over here.
Hi, summoner name Impure Angel, North American server. I was just wondering, what are not necessarily your best champions, but your favorite, and why, and what tactics do you like to use with them?
To be honest, I saw an MF cosplay and I actually forgot that that hero existed, for one. So I'm trying to think of things. Zillion is fun, because Zillion's hilarious. If you can somehow get CDR in that, it's hilarious. I like a lot of the older, I like Twisted Fate, I like Lysandra. I kind of like all the stuff that you can be kind of flashy with. It's just more fun.
For me, I love playing Gangplank, even though he's totally irrelevant in this meta. What I love to do with him was run Exhaust Ghost, basically farm in lane until you're huge, and basically try to get gold from your ults, try to KS someone from bot lane. As once you get farmed, you could two-shot people with your parlay. And the fact that you're just running down champions with your ghost on and just scaring the living hell out of people is the most satisfying thing ever.
This is the person in your team that sits in lane all day.
Only in Gangplank.
Username is Flightmare. How would you handle a troll pick, someone who's purposely trying to derail the entire team?
It depends on what you mean by purposely. It's a very broad term because some people pick things and they'll jump on it really quick and say, oh, it's troll, but they're picking something that just no one uses. There was, the Kazakhs, no, not that, what was it? The Gangplank jungle when it used to start, in season 1, 2, everyone thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. And then it started to become prevalent, and then everyone started doing it. So it depends on how, if the person's legitimately, picking something completely out there, the support Morgana, support anything, everyone thought was, a joke to start with. And then they saw, oh, look, Chinese team, dude, now I'll do it. Yeah, because it usually takes, one person that's actually, ooh, relevant, and then be like, oh, he did it, so I can do it. But before then, if you were doing it, everyone just thinks that you're insane or that you don't have a good idea. If it's I play Ashe mid because it's fun and it works, but that's just me. But I would be one of those people, everyone would yell at me for that. So it depends. If they do it, ultimately you can't do much about it. If they pick something, they pick something.
How frequently do you bump into people who are legitimately there to sabotage your game?
Not as often as you'd think. It's mostly because they want to play something different than they're actually picking it just to, I'm trying to watch my language, be that thorn in your side that you don't want there.
Right.
Usually. I mean, otherwise just ignore it. You're playing a game. Why don't you have fun? You can go do the Gangplank thing.
Changing positions puts you at risk of looking worse, generally.
It makes you look worse, but they won't be laughing when you're the one that shows everyone what's up.
Hi, my summoner name is Captain Reynolds, and I was wondering what your opinion was on duo queue, because Riot, the matchmaking system, gives duo queue players a penalty in terms of matchmaking. Is it better to rank up via solo queue or duo queue?
It depends on you. Personally, I don't really care, because it's still a game. But I know what you mean by there's a lot of people that mentally okay, you do get someone that you play with, and that's fine. But in reality, it's still another person that can do something else that maybe messes up or something like that. Because I've duo queued and I've fed the hell out of everyone. It's my fault. And well, that person doesn't probably want to play with me again. But it really depends. If you like playing with someone, that's fine. If you're a duo laner, it's generally better but really, I don't see the difference in going up and down that much. Personally, I'd rather just play by myself. But if you like, it's nice because you can play with someone you know. But in terms of like actually like result-wise, I don't really see the difference, and that's just me though.
I would say if your duo partner is in the same wavelength as you, if they're solely there just to gain rank, I would say go for it. It also plays a big part in team synergy. If you are like really well with them, if you're an ADC bot lane sort of thing with a support duo, it would be pretty good. I would say go for it, but if you're playing with someone that's totally there just to be carried, or you want the carry, I would suggest not doing it, because either or of you are not going to be contributing that much to the game. But yeah, that's my take on it.
You're not carrying me anymore?
No.
Hi, someone named Daedric. When it comes to the LCS and World Series, NA tends to consistently lose to EU and Asia and stuff. Is it, in your personal opinion, is it a matter of like the strategies and meta that EU and Asia have developed? Like EU favors more accumulating gold and then like just like playing more defensive, whereas Asia has this very aggressive sort of strategy. Or is there other reasons why NA like isn't quite meeting up to the rest of the world in terms of the championship?
It's mostly teamwork. Like individual skill is one thing. Like most of those like higher teams have individually skilled players, but like a long time ago, like season 1, like CLG was the like only team to destroy everyone. Like they wouldn't scrim, they wouldn't do anything, they just beat everyone because all their players were just better than everyone else. And then as teams started to come together, then the teamwork thing started to come into effect. Like, because most of these like a lot of the Korean players used to play on the NA server a long time ago because it didn't exist. So like if you played and you were high on the ladder, you would see people like Ambition, you would see MacNoon, who is like my favorite person ever. You would see all those people, and like I could beat some of those players. Now, if it came to teams, like it was hard because we would scrim against them when they were still there. Like players like Many Reason, like, but their team, like you could beat them in a solo queue setting. When it came to teamwork, it was a lot harder because they were a bit more regimented in their like making sure. Sorry, they were just more aware to do things together. World Elite used to play on NA a lot too. So like, yeah, you got to lane against these people like Messiah and like Wei Xiao, who used to be called Frey Style, and that was the best. But it was very prevalent that their teamwork was a lot better. And then as these teams started to come up, then people like CLG was a favorite to go to like season 1 and just win at that time. And then I think they qualified like 3rd out of the 3 teams that went, and I think they got 5th overall. But before that, they would just beat everyone because there really wasn't another team at all. It was just they were better than everyone else. So now I think like Asia teams, I think just teamwork-wise, they play together better. And I think some of these comps, like you could say, oh, if this happens, they should win, ideally. But generally that never really happens. And I think that Asian teams and European teams just seem to execute what they want to do better.
Where do you think the teamwork is coming into, like, do you think it's coming into play during gaming? Like, do you think it's assembling organically, or do you think it's happening mostly outside of it?
It's mostly just in. Like, they have to communicate well. And, I mean, at the time, too, like my team back then had one strategy, like pocket strategy, that we would always run. And we were good at it. Like, like the old Evelyn that would stun out of stealth. Anytime we got that, we'd almost always win. Outside of that, sometimes, like, it's funny because we went to IPL 3, and I'm pretty sure it just like went downhill, most of it, because like we had a support Alistar who didn't level Pulverize, and the 5 of them face checked us, and we had no Pulverize, and we were all sitting there waiting, and I think like 3 of us died or something. But that's kind of going, sorry, that's off on a tangent, but sorry.
Hi, I'm Summoner named Saskatchewan. I exclusively play ranked. The other day I wanted to start like a rank 5 team. So I sat down and got a good team name, and then I realized I didn't have any friends.
It's okay, you've got so many now.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's any like tips or game modes where it's easier to find people who are like-minded and positive to play games with.
That usually goes into like how I got on a team was purely by luck. it's not like you made a team. Like I somehow was just playing with a bunch of people that were a team and I didn't know that. But like to find that kind of thing, it kind of takes like, that's kind of why the solo queue environment's nice, is because you can find people. If you like playing with them, you add them, and then you play with them again, and you find out. But then it becomes like, it's partially luck-based. Because you're not always going to find, like there's some players that arguably could play on pro teams, but it's also very well known that they're like not a very pleasant person. And then of course they don't want to play with them, because you don't want to play with someone, you live with someone in a house that wakes up and goes, "Ah, my team sucks. I'm the best." Like it's just kind of
Did you just say matching socks?
Did I? My bad. I said my team sucks, but...
Oh, my team sucks. Good, okay.
But I play with him, so... My team.
I would suggest maybe looking on local forums, like maybe Reddit or on Facebook. Find people, because the thing is with ranked 5s is that you need a team that can fit around the same schedule. You can't have someone that gets off work at 6 and is all ready to go, whereas someone's a student has just been playing all day, and now when it comes to 6 o'clock, hey, I don't want to play no more, this game sucks, right? Like, yeah, so just maybe look around locally and find people that are willing to make a team with you.
Oh. Hi, so my summoner name is Naomi306, and I mainly play support. Woo! Thank you. And most of the time the ADC is quite good and you can support them and that's great, but sometimes the ADC just sucks. And I just want to know what you can do as a support to help out the rest of the team, because sometimes you try and take over and you're like, okay, I'll start killing people, and then everyone rages at you. So I just, like, because when the ADC sucks, you've basically lost 2 people on the team then, because support isn't getting anything and ADC is failing.
You're the support. You wear the pants, you do everything. Most of the bot laning is because of you. If any sort of kill happens, it's probably because of you. Because a carry, like any sort of carry by themselves, can't actually 2v1 anything. But if your carry doesn't like correspond to it, there's nothing really you can do. So the most thing you can do is keep them safe. But ultimately, like, you have to initiate, and you actually have to be, like, you're the playmaker down there. And like that's rehashed a bunch of times, but it's true. Like, I'll play carries and I can't, like, 2v1. I try to, but then I usually die. But if not, just, if they're a lost cause, then just don't follow them around. If they want to go farm, don't follow them. Go do something with your team. Because if you're playing, like, support characters, once it comes to that point where, like, a lot of supports will, like as if they were a dog on the leash, will follow the carry. Even if the carry's, like, going to bot just, like, kill creeps. Like, you could go do something. Like, or roam. Play something fun. Just play Alistar, play Mobile Boots, and just run around. And you will get kills, because no one will expect it.
Yeah, especially now in Season 4 with the support rework, you don't need to rely on your ADC as much. Like, you're the one that has all the utility. You're the one that's going to be setting up the plays. Especially, like, say, Thresh, Annie, Leona, they're the ones that are going in on making the plays. They're the ones that are initiating. So just try to get through laning phase as much as you can. Just let your ADC farm up, and then when it comes to team fights, you're going to be the one that's going to be setting the pace of the game.
My summoner name is Lee Cuckoox, and what do you think of AD Thresh?
I love it. I've tried it a couple times. Honestly, in a couple of ranked games as well in solo queue, where to the point where I just built tanky at first, and when I realized how far ahead I am, Vampsep, BT, I start wrecking people because of his passive, and his flay hurts too. So yeah, it works, but you gotta be able to, you know, have fun with it. People are gonna get mad sometimes, but hey, if it's for fun, if you're playing in ranked, you gotta be doing something right.
It depends on what you mean by like for fun, yeah, it's hilarious. If you're talking about practicality, generally the chances that you are actually that strong are not going to happen as much as it does. So like the champion's great as a support, but like you really have to have some sort of like, the character itself does not have a kit to like go with that. Because most ADs have higher range, they have some sort of steroid, things like that. That's why Tristan is broken still, because it's 90% It's 700 range, so it makes sense to just build AD and shoot at people. Whereas some other characters like have no sort of steroid that actually goes with the auto attack, so in practicality senses, it's not the best thing. It works better than some, but it's still hilarious to do if you can somehow get it.
You guys have actually talked a bit about this, like some positions that are fun to play because they're potentially hilarious, or some that are just fun. Like when are you still oriented towards? Do you find that there's a lot of players oriented towards just having a good time with it, or are there people who are taking it too seriously?
No.
Okay.
Everyone in the room knows that everyone just wants to win, and everyone's an ass.
Okay.
That's me though. Sometimes, always. But I mean, that's generally the nature of the game because it's competitive. There's 10 people, and everyone wants to win. So.
All right, this will be the last question.
So, do you still play with any pros now?
Occasionally here and there. Usually, I played some with Chowster, although Chowster just kind of bums around on Diablo 3 now. I sometimes went to the Korean server sometimes to play with like Lilac or MacNoon and things like that because they were kind of hilarious to play with, but mostly not as much. Usually running out of it. Like Mash Me was always pretty funny to play with.
I need to check. Is there a Sabrina in the room? Is there a Sabrina in the room? 14 years old Sabrina? Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, with that note, we hope we find Sabrina somewhere out there. But a big round of applause for these gentlemen for giving you all of the best strategy. Do you guys have any last bits of parting wisdom?
Applause to everyone here because there's so many of you, and it actually intimidated me a huge bunch. Because you were all lined up, like, there's no way they're coming in here. And then you all flooded in, and I got scared. So applause for you guys, because you guys all show up, and you guys make the game what it is, so there you go.
Well, if that's that, thank you all for joining us. Hope you have a great festival. Everyone enjoy the rest of the Comic Expo.
Wow.
Thanks for letting me sit in.
No worries.
Hey, cosplayers, there's a request that you guys group up for a group photo. Maybe you want to just pop outside the doors and...
Who's the Annie with the bear? Can I hug it? Like, pretty please? Yeah. Oh, can I hug it? Yeah. Sick. I've lost games. I was 10-0, and then I threw it actually. Sorry, wait, I'll come down. So.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, man. It went perfect. Thank you.
You guys around tomorrow hanging out?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll probably see you around.
Yeah.
My positions, I actually like to play a lot. The thing is, I like to diversify, but my favorite positions would be support and mid. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, with Leona, I mained her in Season 3 and Season 2. The thing is, level 2, you want to try to hit it first. Once you hit level 2 before them, Zenith Blade in, and start with Q. So Zenith Blade in, Q, stun the ADC, and basically you got free hits. Try to out-trade, and then become the tanky support that you want to be. And honestly, the thing is, when late game, you want to become the shit disturber. You want to go into the back line. You want to stun their ADCs. You want to be the one that's getting in their face and becoming a nuisance.
My friend,
Yeah.
we have enough for like 2 full series.
Yeah.
So one support.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Try out all the roles because there's so many of you, like that you can always. There's so many champions and it's always different. Yeah. So just keep at it, and glad you like the game.
Yeah.
A couple of months actually. So the first time wireless one here. So if someone's planning on going for a little wander around, this is the one they can use.
Okay.
Since we only have the 6 static mics, maybe we'll just give the, will it be the moderator who will probably get up and wander around? Or?
Actually, I'm thinking maybe we'll keep him up there. Maybe
Okay.
I might wander.
You might wander?
Yeah.
So then why don't you use this one the whole time then?
Okay, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, that works.
When we get started here, I'll make sure that this button gets pressed for you and it's
Okay.
turned on. But yeah, so whereabouts are you sitting?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay, we'll put you at the end. It'd be easiest for you, easiest egress for you, I figure.
Yeah. Okay, so Keith.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking. Yeah, Keith.
Hey, I'm Keith. Nice to meet you.
So I'm thinking that we'll put you here. Okay. There's only room for technically 6 to a certain degree, so maybe I'll grab the mic and I can just wander.
Right.
Chris?
Yeah?
Keith, there, me at the end.
Okay, you want to be on that?
I'll be on the end because I'll take the mic and wander if I need it.
And Keith wants to be on the other end?
I think that makes sense. I mean, you?
Okay, so me in the middle. Okay, sorry, Chris.
Do you guys need a laptop or anything like that? No, it's just straight up chatting. Hey?
Just straight up talking. Yep.
Actually,
I do need. We're just gonna record it.
Okay. What do you need for that?
Well, I just have a recorder, but I'm just thinking of where the best place is to put it. Probably just up here.
A live recorder, or maybe a line in would work better for you?
I forgot my cable for the line in, unfortunately.
Hey Becky, would you potentially have a line in that Brett here can use to record the sound?
Our audio goes to the front.
Okay.
They run us a line that goes through the ceiling down out the back.
Okay.
You would want to check with Jeff.
So we could check with the tech, eh?
Yeah, check with
Because I mean, otherwise I can just throw it here and
It'll pick up the speaker. If that's fine for you, then that's
yeah.
Okay.
I think
We'll
that'll
be broadcasting it on FlipON.TV as well.
Yeah, so that's cool. We just because the audio version will just go onto our site.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We'll just double up for safety. So we were talking about just having the comics up here. We can give away I'll give away the hardcovers.
Yeah. I think we do hardcovers for questions.
Yeah. Well, because I'll have this mic, and Mo will just be in the audience. So I mean, Mo.
He's going to be the free fly DJ.
Yeah.
Every time you guys say something, he's going to be like, yeah. It's going to definitely have a flavor to the room, is what I'm saying.
Actually, no, I'll just be wandering into the middle of the room.
You do the Oprah thing. You'll be the one at the back that goes,
Exactly. And Brett, who is he's actually left the room.
I'm in another room, guys. This is awesome.
This is the most gangster I've ever been.
This girl rocks. She's over here.
Okay. Is there anything else I can get for you before we start letting people in?
No, I think we're good. I'm just going to run through the water closet.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, the door to your left. Door on the corner on your right hand side.
Keith?
Yeah.
Do you have a good memory?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Do I have a good memory?
I just wanted to share with him the order of people so we don't screw it up for.
You're going to be moderating, yeah? So I'll do a quick intro for you guys. We won't really be introducing you guys. I'm just going to go over some house rules and stuff, and then I'll turn it over to you, okay? Cool. We'll do that right on the start time, so
We've got
like 12 minutes from now.
Awesome.
And we're going to open up the doors here if you want to do whatever you got to do.
You need some help?
Just so you know, the mics on stage are hot. So anything you say on the mics can be heard on the internet right now.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that heads up.
www.wetalkpodcast.com.
You guys keep all that scandalous talk to yourself, all right? Okay.
Scott Shot was awesome.
Oh, I didn't go back for my sketch yet. For my commission.
I called Carmine Infantino a putz. And described Jack Kirby getting a lap dance.
That's exactly what she said.
I know, that's why I'm saying it.
You missed who he said to.